Jared,
Isaac,
welcome.
thanks.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Good to see you
I'm
too.
excited for this, another episode of Finish the Race podcast,
Wonderful.
where we talk about overcoming hardships, obstacles, and mental barriers, whatever it might be,
I have a lot of
to get to where we need to go. Before we dive into it, though, we got to get a cookie jar. So
absolutely.
pull a cookie out of there.
You know it.
We'll see if it's sweet. Cookie jar conversation.
Well, this is a big one here. We get.
I want a theme song.
Why are you the person you are?
Whoa.
That's pretty wild.
Okay. Why are you? I guess I don't know, that's a hard question to answer because there's a lot that goes into it.
Truth. It's so vague when you think about it.
What would you say?
I don't know. It's so vague. It's I mean, you can interpret that question a lot of ways. Um, honestly, I guess if I really had to answer this truly and honestly, I would say because of my wife.
Oh,
And I know that sounds like a Hallmark card.
it does, but it's nice.
It's the truth though. I was not a good kid. I was not a good teenager. I was kind of a recluse, so to speak. I did a lot of terrible things. Nothing like, awful, but you're basically just like bratty behavior. Um, and I was very closed-minded on a lot of things, but when I met my wife, when I met Jessica, she really changed my entire perspective, not just with everything that I was ever opposed against in my life, but also changed me in a way to where I became more open-minded about things, but also just more accepting and a lot more relaxed than I used to
Mm.
be. Um, really just I was a very bitter, hateful person, and she changed me into somebody that is the complete opposite of that.
Wow. Man, that was really nice.
Hope so.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know. I mean, obviously past experiences, um, surviving things
Mhm.
has brought me to where I am, but who I am, I got to give credit to God. Um, just things I've prayed for and things that I've seen him do in my life and for me, for my family and stuff has been very impactful
Mhm.
to the person that I am. Um, I don't give him credit for the terrible things that I do or the bad things that I'm not proud of.
Mhm.
Those are all me. And they're things that I'm not proud of, but it's still who I am. And it's things that I have to overcome. Things, battles that I'm fighting.
Of course.
But I don't know. Yeah.
It's a good question.
That's what I was saying. It is. It was a
Yeah.
very good
Damn
question.
good question.
Whoever sent that in, good job. All right, now the meat of the sandwich, the middle bite. We are talking about something very dear to your heart, dear to a lot of people's heart.
Mhm.
You have made another movie.
Yes.
What's it called?
It's called Migraine.
Very for somebody that's got to see it.
Yeah.
Very intentional title.
Oh, yeah. I got a headache literally just thinking about
Yeah.
it.
So tell me what you can about migraine. How did it start? Why did it start?
Of course.
Yeah, how did you get to the point to where you wanted to make that movie, and
Mhm.
what did it take to make that movie?
That is the beauty of Migraine is its secrecy because I have not shown a lot of footage. The trailer is only 38 seconds.
Yeah.
I've only released like a couple of stills. Um, my reasoning for that is simply because in the day that this movie is set, the movie takes place in 1977. And I've really tried my hardest to make it a film that feels like it was lost at that time. Like it was just buried somewhere and someone uncovered it. It is truly it was truly meant to be a very, very close homage to the 1970s,
Okay.
all the way down to the style of editing, all the way down to how it's shot, all the way down to how it sounds. I wanted this to be a very authentic piece, at least within the means of our budget. Um, it I mean, my love for filmmaking, we all know. I've been a guest on your podcast for
Oh yeah.
so many years. And for those of you who just tuned in, I started filmmaking at age 12 when I got my first video camera. It was 2003, so it was still like these little cassette tapes that you recorded on. Loved experimenting with it. Around the time I started getting into filmmaking, I really got into horror. And from the time that I was at least like 13 all the way up to the time that I was in my mid to late 20s, I really wanted to do a horror film. I never had the chance to until you had come along, and everyone that I currently like do films with now came along, and we made, of course, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And St. Patrick's Day is, of course, your typical 1980s theme slasher. Is very tongue in cheek. It's not meant to be taken seriously, but I think that's the problem with a lot of criticism that the film has gotten in the most recent months. Actually, since last year, it's been under fire for a lot of criticism.
Really?
A lot of people hate it, and I think that's because they don't understand what it is. And that is not the fault of the viewer. That is just me wanting to make the film that I want to make,
Yeah.
and I
That's good.
wanted
A
it
lot of people have seen it though.
exactly. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
And I like because I'd mentioned earlier on social today, I was like, listen, for those of you who have seen it, whether you felt negatively about it or positively about it, that's still one person who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
And anytime you interact with that post, it's going to go up,
Yeah.
so
Thank
someone
you.
else is going to see it. So
Yeah.
thank you. Um, but with that criticism, and of course with criticism of every film that I make, there is always going to be things that they're completely right about, and that's the beauty of criticism, is that you can take it and you can like either absolutely detest how that is and how
Mhm.
it sounds and kind of try to defend yourself, or you can listen and come to an understanding that maybe they're right and this is going to help you make something even better. And St. Patrick's Day was 4 films ago. So
Dang.
yeah, we've been doing this a while,
Wow.
and I've learned so much since then because of input from letterboxed users, the lowest possible moviegoer, and IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and of course, specifically where it really matters are from your friends and family,
Mhm.
and they tell you up straight, "Hey, uh, this works, but this doesn't." Um, when I was 15, I was at peak horror in my life. I love horror films, love them. And at this time, Elm Street was my favorite franchise and still to this day is my favorite franchise. I love it for all of its flaws, but I also love it for all of its perfection because there are some films in that franchise that are just masterfully done. And me not having any creative ideas of my own, of course, at 15, because my brain's not fully developed yet,
Yeah.
I wrote an Elm Street fan fiction,
Mhm.
but I wanted it to be different. I thought to myself that an Elm Street, like something that's never been done before. So I was seeing the horror that was done in like currently at that time period, a lot of experimental stuff, a lot of personal tales. And I thought, well, what if this Elm Street story was one character the entire movie? You had a couple characters like sprinkled in between, but
Yeah.
for the majority of its runtime, you focused on this one person, only this one person, and see the stages of their decline in their health. And I just I just love the concept of it because you got to like, yeah, in Elm Street you got a body count. You're rooting for a bunch of different characters to come together
Yeah.
and figure it out. But if you're by yourself, if you're
Yeah.
by yourself and nobody else is listening to you, if you have to take on whatever this is on your own, this demonic entity, this demon, so to speak, like Freddy, like what do you do? How can you accomplish something like that? Because the beauty of the Elm Street movies were all about teamwork and coming together and trying to defeat whatever entity this was, at least in the later sequels. But I wanted a personal tale. So I wrote a character who just tried to survive this all on their own without help from anybody involved. And those who do listen and those who do hear can't really do anything. They're there to listen and they're there for the plot to be explained. But
Yeah.
outside of that, they serve no purpose to helping this character make it through this troublesome time. And that was a script that it was like 10 pages. Like I didn't like to me at 15 a movie script was only like 20 or something.
Yeah.
So I'm just tossing them aside. So when we were doing St. Patrick's Day, I was digging around in like my old filmmaking stuff because from even from St. Patrick's Day standpoint at that time we had really came a long way, and I really just wanted to do something different. We were known for doing comedy films. We're known for having like these fun, campy movies, and even St. Patrick's Day a little bit campy. But eventually, once I had enough experience after St. Patrick's Day, I really wanted to make something serious, something really emotional, something that would be worth investing your time in, not just to see like a plot of point A to point B, but to
Yeah.
actually feel for the characters on screen and to feel like you're in that setting with them. And when I was digging through old filmmaking stuff, like, old props, old cameras, because I keep everything, I found that Elm Street script and I thought to myself, wow, there's something here that we could probably do with complete ease, given the fact that we have established a brand for ourselves at this point. It's a very small brand, but people know what to expect from Springland Studios. They know what to expect from my films. And I didn't want that. I wanted the
Mm.
unexpected. And that is where that script just spoke to me. I thought this is where it's at, but it needs tweaking.
Yeah.
So of course, like I went to like the cast and crew. I went to you. I went to Shay. I went to everybody involved with the production, and I said, whatever ideas you have, whatever you want to talk about, I want it in the film, but I want it to be personal things. I want this to be something that you fear personally. What's the scariest thing
Mm.
that you can think of? Um, what keeps you up in the middle of the night? I wanted it to be a truly scary film, but I also wanted it to have an emotional core. And at the end of the day, after we had our little session, after I had my sessions with the rest of the cast and crew, with Jill and Shay and everybody else, I said to myself, okay, I think we got it. I don't know how we're going to pull it off because originally we talked about doing it at the beach.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if we did it at the beach, then it's going to have the issue of all of the cameras having that moisture from the
Mm.
air. And I was like, eh. But then one night when Jill and Jay are here and we're hanging out, Jill has this brilliant idea. And she was like, I am in App State. And, Alyssa, who was also part of the cast, she's in App State. Like, basically, like everyone that I need is, and you included, are all in
Yeah.
App State. It's like, I'm there, Alyssa's there, I was there. And then Shay's like, why don't we get an Airbnb? And then Jill's like, oh my God, and you can do it in October. So it's like a Friday the 13th in October that weekend
Mhm.
with in the mountains with homies filming a horror movie during the month of October.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Can't do better than that.
this sounds kind of awesome because the leaves will be the perfect color.
Yeah, and they
Th-
were.
They were, they
Oh,
are
man.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Eh, I'm down. If we are all serious about actually making this movie happen, this very ambitious, very different, serious movie, I want to do it. But we got to do it right.
Yeah.
And everyone said if we don't take this opportunity to just go ahead and do it like this, it's not going to be as good. It's not going to be like we have a like why don't we just do it? We can do it. And I like and when I had this conversation with him, I genuinely looked at them both and I said, I don't think I have it in me. I genuinely do not think that I'm at a point where I can make this movie that good. And almost got hit because they were like, "This is stupid. You can't say things like that. Look at how far
Oh,
we've
yeah.
come. You are going to make this great, and we are going to be there every step of the way." And I was completely convinced. I'm like, everything's matching up. There's too much planning involved and too much I guess what am I trying to say here? Everything just seems to be lining up as it should,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like a miracle. I mean, even like going on eBay, I was like, well, if it takes place in the 70s, I need to get props. Everything I needed was there. Like everything, all the way down to the month and the date and the year that this movie
Yeah.
takes place. And it was cheap, which is not normal
Yeah.
because when we were doing St. Patrick's Day, the props for that,
Oh
because
my
that's also a
goodness.
period piece, they were so expensive.
Yeah.
But here we are, like with something that would be a little bit more expensive because it's not only has time passed since we did St. Patrick's Day, but the '70s are a completely different decade. But
Mhm.
here we are getting the right props, getting the right cast. And I remember I wanted Alyssa to be in the film so bad, and because when I wrote it out, I said I cannot think of anybody else in this role other than Alyssa. I cannot think of anybody else in this film outside of Josh. I cannot think of anything outside of the role than you and Jill and Shay. That was my go-to cast. I was like, this right here. Like I just when I wrote this out, I thought about every single body personality and the way that everyone conveys themselves on camera and thought to myself, are they right for this role? And I was absolutely blown away with how everybody did in this film.
Mhm.
Best performances I have ever had the privilege of shooting. I was blown away because everyone wanted to deliver a great movie,
Yeah,
and we all came together to make that happen.
it's great.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah,
I'm gonna stop for 1 second, and then we're gonna get back, and we're gonna talk about some challenges that you faced making the film.
beautiful.
But I gotta take a minute to say thank you so much for watching. You're watching right now, but this would not be possible without you. We need you. We need you to like, follow, leave reviews, follow, subscribe, whatever you have to do to keep this going. It's much appreciated. And there might be some merch coming soon. So stay tuned. We'll see. Thank you, and welcome back to the episode. Jared, let's talk about some challenges that you faced making this movie. Um, what was it that, because you did mention that there was a feeling of this isn't going to work. I'm not going to be able to pull off what I want to pull off. Where do you think that came from, and how did you end up avoiding falling to that? Um, what's it called? That lie that appeared in your head.
I guess you could call that just the empty void that just never ends, and you're always doubting yourself
Yeah.
every second of the way. And I still do, even whatever I do next. There's not going to be a moment where I
Yeah.
doubt myself, because every step that you take in a process like this, you want to keep doing better.
Mhm.
Um, but when you just keep seeing the negative, I have more negative reviews on our films than I do positive. They get turned away from a lot of festivals. They get looked down upon because they only cost like so much money, and people don't understand what it takes to go into something like that. Um, but the struggle that I faced the most was being taken seriously. Um, and you can't be taken seriously with so much going on in order to make a movie like this. Like you you had to take into account how much everything costs. Budget is my biggest concern. And back then when I was doing these things, I mean, we all worked here at the movie theater. We just didn't get paid that kind of money. And even now, as like at the age that I am, like money is still an issue because of just how the world is. Like why is a McChicken $13 on DoorDash? It's going to be a next podcast we talk about.
That's great.
But the the I just thought to myself like, you know, I hate that I don't have the funds to make something truly special.
Mm.
Like I really do. That's always been the thing that holds me back. And then like midway through like pre-production before we started filming, I'm just like the key is to stop doubting yourself and to think to yourself, it doesn't matter how much money that you have. It's all about this is another hallmark moment for all of us here. It's all about what is in here.
Mhm.
Because if you can really feel it in your gut that you can successfully pull something off just because of your sheer passion, then what am I even trying to say here? See, all right, you're gonna have to cut some of this
I
out.
got it.
um, what am I
You're
trying to
good.
say? Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you have to take a step back and look around you and see what does work.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have the funds of a Hollywood production. That's just impossible. You're not even going to have the funds. I don't even have the funds of a regular indie film. The average indie film costs about 300,000.
Good.
Yeah, and here we are with like $2,000 or $3,000.
Yeah.
You can make that work. You just have to think about how. You got to look at the script and you got to think to yourself, how is this going to be set up? How is it going to be shot? How am I going to be able to convey the story in a way that audiences are going to understand? And how am I going to pull something off that seems completely impossible? And that is the answer to that is literally love and support. Because when you have a whole team of people looking at you, you got to keep in mind that they are all there to make something beautiful.
Yeah.
They are there to make something that a lot of people have always dreamed of making. There's a lot of people out there who have never gotten to make the films that they want to make. So we should count ourselves lucky that we're even here. And without that love and support, without those little like whispers in your ear saying to keep going, you're just you got nothing. You
Yeah.
got to have a strong support system to do this. You got to have people that want to be there, that
Mhm.
want to celebrate the art of filmmaking with you. They want you to succeed. And I've been incredibly blessed to have people like you and Jill and Shay and Alyssa and Josh and anyone who has ever even touched the surface of the movies that we've done. I owe everything to them because I came from nothing with no friends to having literally like at least 90 plus people who are
Yeah.
all ready to say, what do you need? Um,
Yeah, you got a lot of good people around you,
yeah,
I
that
feel
is the
like.
key to success is a strong support group. You need to have good friends in your corner. You
Mhm.
need to have people that really want to see you succeed. Um, but the second thing, and this is the most important thing too, is patience.
Mm.
I don't have any, but I try to be very chill on set because
Yeah.
I'm very stressed. That is my biggest challenge is how stressed out I get.
Yeah.
I do not sleep.
No, you
I
don't.
do not eat.
Are you willing to share what your schedule is like once the filming is
There's a
done
schedule.
and the editing starts?
What? No, that's not even a thing. I don't even know what time is anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what today is. I don't even know what time it currently is right now because
But tell
I
people what you did
tell people what I
because
do.
it's crazy.
Okay, so
Filming's done.
filming is done.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, let's back up just a smidgen on this one. Every time I shoot a scene and we're done for the day,
Mhm.
I will begin to edit it literally
Yeah.
that night. I am one of the very few people that edits movies as we're still filming. And the reason why I do that is because it is always pivotal to me to see where the scene goes, to get a feeling for it, especially the first scene that you shoot. Whatever you shoot first, I think to myself, everything has to match this in tone
Mm.
because now I have a visual, audio representation of what this should look and feel like. Now to master that throughout. That is so difficult to do, especially because you've already written the script. And you know me, I'm going to look at that script and say, this doesn't work
Yep.
anymore. I'll rewrite this tomorrow and
You
I
change
have
it
a fresh one
4
right
times in a
there.
week.
But it always works out.
Mhm.
It always works out. So after filming is completed, I will not sleep until that film is done.
Yeah.
I get an average of about 2 to 3 hours of sleep. Uh, I guess I wouldn't say weekly, but I would definitely say uh, we during the week, probably like 10 hours of sleep
Yeah.
tops.
Yeah.
I am so focused on getting a project done, and not because of my lack of patience. That's a different story. It is because I am so obsessed over the editing
Yeah.
process.
You're
It
very
is,
meticulous.
I am. It is very fun to do. It's very important because you are literally putting the pieces together. Whatever you churn out of this editing software is what the world is going to see.
Yeah.
And every single inch of it has to be up to my standard. And if it isn't, I will literally reshoot it.
Mhm.
When we uh, were filming, I did not think about the altitude changes. So the majority of this movie, I would say about 80% of the movie is dubbed in post. The audio, the speaking, the ambient noises that you hear in the background. Every sound effect is completely synthetic and done in post.
Good grief.
It was a struggle, which that took audio editing, visual editing. It probably took about it because I would edit as I would go. It's not really fair to like say it took like 3 or 4 months. I would say visually the film was completed within like 5 days, not even a week. That's the easy part because you can see what you're aiming for. You get the runtime in there. You really just you focus on how the movie looks first. Then the audio happened, and the audio took. I don't even want to say. I think audio took about 2 or 3 weeks, and I only slept about. I wouldn't even say a fraction of those days
Yeah.
because when you're in the zone, when you're just sitting there, because it'll be like 4 a.m., 6 a.m. I there is nothing else in the world outside of me and that laptop screen.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the last time I like peed or anything. I don't even think I used the bathroom.
You disappear into it, and
Hmm.
it's so crazy.
It's funny because no one hears from me in like a long time either. Like I usually, yeah, because I'll text you every now and then. I'll text Jill and Shay and everybody. I'll be texting them and I'll just be like, "Yeah, everything's great," and then like you won't hear from me for another week and a half or even a month, and I'm just like, "Oh, it's done."
You're like, oh, by the way, I finished the movie.
Yeah, here's a link.
How much of it? The whole thing.
The editing is scary. It was funny. We did a screening of our latest film, Rosemary and Sage Turn Back Time, at Viz Art Video in Charlotte in December, and a good friend of mine, Dave Harlequin, he runs the Stranger Days Film Festival. He is a phenomenal human being. He was in attendance there. And of course, Rosemary and Sage Turn Back Time won the best regional feature at the Stranger Days Film Festival. It's
Dang.
a big honor. But Dave is a really cool dude. He set me aside and he was just like, how hands on are you with these projects? I'm like, I am the project. It was like, you need a crew, man.
Yeah.
You've been telling me that, and
I've
everybody's
been
telling
telling
me
you
that.
that for so
I
long.
know. Everybody keeps telling me that I need a crew.
Yeah.
And you are completely right
Yeah.
because I am tired.
Yeah.
I have never like I was looking at pictures of myself from like even last year, like during premieres, and I'm like, I was not this gray. Like even a year ago, I'm completely silvered down here. It's wild, dude. It is wild how much stress it puts on me. But I just love it too much. I'm so passionate about this. I want it done. I want it done correctly. I want people to experience something new and fresh and exciting. But most importantly to me, I love it when the cast and crew get to see this
Yeah.
thing. It's because they get to see they are the ones that are the hardest workers. Yeah, I don't sleep. I don't eat. That's nothing compared to what I put y'all through on screen.
I
Like it's countless hours of waiting for your scene to be finished, countless hours of doing nothing, countless hours of just standing around like waiting for action. It's exhausting. And then when you're actually doing stuff, when you're physically doing things, I'm a tyrant. Do it again.
yeah.
Keep doing it. That's not good enough.
Mhm.
And then I just get little, and then I do the Kubrick thing where I'm just like, that was good, but I want you to do it again.
Mhm.
And then they
You got
thinking
to
that
get all
it's
the shots.
every single shot. I am a tyrant on set, a absolute tyrant, because I will literally come at everyone full force until I'm satisfied. And I always worry that I'm going to like push people away because I'm just asking so much. I'm like, number one, we're so low budget that like this is all volunteer work, and I'm
Yeah.
having you guys come all the way out here to the mountains to shoot this horror movie that's going to be so exhausting, both emotionally and physically, that I just feel horrible. And I don't know. I'm glad that everyone has stuck around. That's all I can say.
I do want to see you with a crew around you, though.
Yeah,
I think it would be really cool.
I can't afford a crew. I can't afford
You don't
dinner.
have to. You don't have to.
What do you mean?
Because there's other people that are just as interested and passionate as you are in other fields
Yeah.
that would, like, in a team up, would benefit everybody.
Dave was telling me at Vizar, he said, "Man, you've got to get a crew.
Yeah.
You were gonna burn yourself out."
Yeah.
I'm already lit. It's good.
Yeah,
This flame has died several
yeah,
times.
that's the thing. There's like name one guy that like
Nobody does
would
this
know.
because everyone's smart.
Yeah,
I do not take care of myself,
yeah,
but it's those sacrifices that I make to honestly just to bring joy to everybody who worked
yeah.
on it. Like I said, I just love it when everybody gets to see everything they worked so hard
Mhm.
on. And my biggest fear that I have to overcome, this is the biggest fear of overcoming, is worrying. I don't care about the audience. It's subjective. You know, you like it, you love it, you hate it,
Yeah.
whatever. But I never, ever want to make anything that someone looks back on and says, I was not proud of that.
Mm,
And that's why I always try to make everything fun and inventive and exciting and new with what little means that we have. Because man, I could not live with myself if somebody told me that they were embarrassed to be in something that I made.
yeah,
Because that's just not what I want. I don't want them to ever have to be embarrassed or to regret doing something that they've done with me because it's just that would be heartbreaking.
yeah. That
That
makes
would be
sense.
truly heartbreaking. But fortunately, so far we've been okay. But this one's pretty meaty. So
Is that probably your biggest fear?
yes,
Or like one of your biggest struggles is worrying?
yeah.
Do you worry a lot?
You know, like not having a lot of friends to having a lot of friends all of a sudden, it's just like that biggest fear in my mind, and that's just anxiety talking, is that I make something so bad and they don't want to work with me again, they don't want to see me
Yeah,
again. I hate losing a friend more than anything in this world. I hate losing a friend
yeah,
because eh, having like these movies really bond us together.
yeah,
Like I cannot tell you how much love I have for everybody involved. Um, even people that I just no longer talk to anymore, or which is not like something personally. It's just we're all busy people. Or even if someone that I'd have had a falling out with, I still love and respect them so much. Um, but yeah, just I really don't want to lose people as friends over something like that,
yeah,
or at all. So that's just my biggest fear. Literally, like losing everything that we built just because I might have made a dud for once.
mhm,
But of course, that's why I push myself to the point of exhaustion and no sleep. I think I've had at least 3 monsters today.
mm,
But they were free because I don't buy code products. Uh, I absolutely uh, focus so hard on making the best possible product and the best possible film so that it is perfect in a sense to where everybody's going to enjoy it, but also I don't lose friends over it.
wow,
Because let me tell you, the one time we did a short that's never been released, it was so awful. It was horrendous. I could not release it. And I
how
told
long ago
everyone
was this?
working. This was last year. No, almost 2 years
Oh,
ago.
wow,
It was so bad. I told and everyone was so excited about it because it was a big, ambitious project.
mhm,
But you know what? That goes back to me saying, ambition kind of gets the best of us sometimes because I really wanted this to be a game changer and I was
yeah,
impatient and I wanted things to be done in a certain way and they didn't work out. And after watching it like completed, it was so bad that usually I'm like, oh, everybody take a look at this. Like, just tell me what you think. I knew
yeah,
no one's ever seen it and no one ever will.
dang,
And, and that's just, but that's just, that's the business. Sometimes you're going to make something good. Sometimes you're going to make something bad. But, um, I guess fortunately, fortunately, no one has decided to sever ties with me yet. And I feel like if I released that, oh, I would have. I think I probably would have gotten a divorce.
oh my gosh,
That's how bad it was.
good grief,
Nah,
I
nah,
don't
she
know
wouldn't
about
do
that.
that. Nah, we love each other.
Yeah, so I want to transition this into talking about. Can we say? Oh yeah, we can say the character's name
From what?
from Migraine.
Oh yeah, Farrah. Yeah,
Okay, I was making sure, but then I realized it's on the poster.
yeah, yeah.
So,
No, yeah.
I want to transition this into the character of Farah.
Okay.
But first, I got to tell the people again to please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, if you like the videos and the stories and the great guests that I'm blessed to have. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Do what you got to do so that I can continue making this. I do it for you. I want you to learn that every obstacle can be overcame and you are going to make it and you need to finish the race. Farah,
Yes,
she is an artist.
she is.
Tell me about her.
So Farah is the main character in Migraine. She is an artist. She paints for a living, and I really feel like that was such a nice touch to do for Farah. In the original script, I didn't really have Farah well developed, and when like I became very close to Shay and we were like really doing things together, I thought to myself, well, I want this to be a vehicle for you. Like I want this entire film to be carried by you, mainly because you've always been there. You've always been absolutely phenomenal with helping me out with these films. And I really want a vehicle for you to shine. I think that together we are an incredible duo that can really make something special here. And Shay is also she paints as well,
Hmm.
and I thought that would be a nice touch, not just to bring a piece of her into this character, but also to kind of just I, display emotion in these paintings to kind of like really get into the mind of what she is. There's not a lot of dialogue in this film, so all of the character development is through emotion, and painting is very expressive, so you kind of just get a feeling for who Farah is while you see these scenes in the art gallery and while you see these scenes unfold as she starts to become increasingly sick and get these headaches. And that's really what Migraine is all about, is personal struggle. Uh, she moves away because of her past, which we won't get into here, of course, but she moves away because of her past. She wants a fresh start, just like anybody would want a fresh start after experiencing something traumatic. And sometimes that thing that's traumatic, you can't overcome, not because it consumes you, but because it is you wish you could have, something you wish you could have done, but it's out of your control.
Hmm.
And those are the biggest personal struggles in life, would be fixing something that you can't control, something that's out of your hands. And when in the film, when we add this element to it, it gives her character a sense of purpose. Like, okay, I couldn't do this, but maybe I can find a way to do this, to overcome this other obstacle that is affecting me emotionally and mentally.
Yeah.
How can I do that? Um, because by her solving this problem, uh, by the end of this film, by solving the problem at the end of the film, by discovering what is wrong and what is happening, she is in a way basically going to be able to live with herself,
Yeah.
because she can she can think to herself, okay, so I couldn't fix this, but I can fix this, and if I fix this, then maybe my mind can finally rest.
Yeah.
Maybe it is maybe this is a sign to tell me, hey, it's okay. It's out of your hands, but you can still do something about it. And I really wanted that in this film. I wanted because we never really explored emotion in our movies before. There's been hints at it. There's been things where, okay, well that sucks for that character, or that sucks for this character. But I really wanted to just nail it
Yeah.
this time. I wanted people to look at that character and think to themselves, there has been so many times that I was not able to do something because it was out of my hands. And I wish that there was something that I could do to fix that. So this gives them reason to root for Farah, to say, you know what, you got this. You're going
Yeah.
to overcome this.
I think that's a very hard thing to adapt or to adopt as a mindset
Mhm,
is letting go of what's out of your control,
mhm,
but then attributing fixing or overcoming something else to what you couldn't control. So it's like you said,
yeah,
I was able to fix this, help somebody else, help myself, help a loved one, whatever it is. And then realizing it's like I am capable of overcoming certain things
Mhm.
that are in my control to
Mhm.
overcome. And some things I just have to learn to let be and let go.
Yep.
Leave them where they are. They were never in my power to wield. You know,
Exactly.
which is really cool. It's very very cool concept to dive into.
Mhm.
And Farrah looks like shit.
Yeah.
So you can definitely see her going through it in the film.
Yeah, the makeup, like, everything that, like, Jill did, everything that everybody did in that movie
Jill killed
is
it.
top level. I was always concerned when I looked over at Shay and she would, like, look like because I kept forgetting that that was just makeup.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Are you good?" And she just looks up and smiles, she's like, "Oh, yeah, no, no, everyone's fine." I'm just eh, and I was like, "That's right, you have on heavy makeup." Like, it was I'm telling you that if you ever wanna see someone slip slowly into madness, this is the movie for you because it is intense. It is an intense
Yeah.
time.
Um, how do you, if you've come up with a way to, how do you plan on overcoming your worrying? Have you thought about it? I know you've thought about it.
I have thought about it.
What do you think about it?
You know, I think this also kinda goes back to Farrah in a way.
Okay.
Some things are just out of your control. If I make something that bad and they don't wanna talk to me anymore or be a part of it, then honestly, I guess that kinda speaks to how they are as people.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, "We've made so many films together, and not all of them are perfect, but they all keep coming back for more because they enjoy it."
Hmm.
And I need to allow them to I need to I need to allow myself to just realize these are good people. They're not gonna I'm not gonna be abandoned because I made something bad or they didn't like it. They're gonna keep coming back for more because at the end of the day, the number one answer to overcoming the fear of abandonment, or people not liking what you put out is that you just need to allow yourself to be loved.
Yeah.
And I never do.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other thing is like you keep saying, and I'm going to talk to you like this because I'm your best friend and
Absolutely.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't care either.
You keep saying like if I make something bad, if I put out something bad, then they won't be my friend.
Yeah,
But people aren't your friend because you make movies,
I know.
Jared.
I know.
You
I
know?
know. I know that. I know that. I've always known it,
Yeah.
but it's like I feel like that's all I am as a person, you know? I feel like that's truly all I am and all that I ever will be and consumed by this art form. And I don't know. I just don't think I have anything else outside of that.
I don't agree with that,
Yep.
but if you feel that way,
That's your opinion.
yeah. No, I struggle. Dude, I struggle so much with. I was talking to somebody about this today.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know how to let people love me.
Yeah.
And that's a weird thing to say, but I also struggle with like loving myself,
Mhm.
which I think that's probably the biggest contributor to it
Mhm.
is how could I possibly believe a soul or a person outside of me could love me if I can't even love myself?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just a journey and a mystery that I'm going through right now.
Mhm.
Something that I haven't overcome yet.
Yeah.
Um, it's frustrating though, because it seems so silly,
Yeah. It
right?
does. It really does. Like I'm just like, man, because I even got to think about it too. Because I always thought I was even telling my wife, I'm like, well, only time I ever hang out with anybody is if I'm on filming set, and she's like, that's not true because you guys go out and have fun and you go eat
Yeah,
sometimes and and just just catch up with casual conversation and you're more than just that. And I'm just like, but am I though?
yeah.
Are any of us really? I don't know. I always I worry that I am tolerated,
No,
right?
it,
That
I
is my
would I
problem.
would let you say that or believe it if you were paying people to be in the movies.
Yeah.
Then it would make sense.
I know, and that's what I gotta think. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why people do it. They're like, they do it because they love to do it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, but do they though?
Like,
I'm just not listening.
I know.
Like Jessica's like, you're not listening. I'm just like, I know. Ugh,
Yeah,
it's such a shame.
it's a thing though. But I
Yeah,
don't. Me and my buddy were talking about this. We actually share the same name, but dude, we talked for a long time, and it ended up getting really deep. And we were both like, "Why? Like, why are we so afraid to be loved?"
yeah.
You know. But it's just a question that we gotta dive into and
Hmm.
research again and
Yep.
experiment with it. And, it's strange though.
Yeah, it is.
I never
But
thought that would be like. I never thought that would be a struggle.
yeah,
You know, like being a kid, you're like, oh, it's gonna be hard to pay the bills. It's gonna be hard, and you know all these other things that
yeah, of course.
you can see on paper.
Yep.
But then as you get older, you're like, what? How do I love?
It's so bad.
It is. It's weird.
It is weird, but it's just like everybody keeps telling me that's how you overcome it. Just allow it. Just don't question it. And that's hard to do sometimes because you really look around and you're like, damn, I am blessed.
Yeah.
I am like it's every time I look at these posters on the wall over here, or even during the editing process, I'm like, this is too good to be true. This is a dream. This is a
It
dream to
is.
have people like this in your corner, to people that truly love and respect you and want to be there for you. And you're just like you're just thinking the whole time, I don't deserve this, or how did this even happen? And you just gotta allow it to happen. And I still don't.
Hey, me neither.
It's hard, man.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's difficult.
It is.
Well, tell us about the film festival that is
Oh
going to be
yes.
happening here at Spring Lane Cinemas.
Well, Spring Lane Cinemas is notorious for being Spring Lane Cinemas. So how do we fix that? How do we make it so, so- oh, it's funnier the more you think about
It
it.
is.
Oh man,
How
but
we
there's
put
no
out the dumpster fire.
no carpet, and there's floors leaking, ceilings caving, hot water heater busted. It's like a
Yeah.
damn pool in here. No, it's awful. But but I love this theater and I want to see it survive. And that's the reason why I keep pushing myself to make films so that we can play them here. Because all proceeds to our films go straight into the theater. We don't make pennies or anything on these movies. I do them because I love them. Everybody else does them because we love them. But we also do them to help out a little bit of revenue with the theater. And hopefully Migraine does well. But another thing that we tackle to do something different is that on Wednesdays we do retro movies here. We did Dirty Dancer for Valentine's Day. You can imagine how that went very well. And it's just little things like that to make the community a little bit more of a fun place, something for everyone to do. And when it comes to the film festival, um, I gotta tell you, is one of the biggest achievements of my life is this film festival. I've met so many amazing filmmakers, so many amazing talent. It is truly miracle that I'm even allowed to do something like this. Basically, when I started doing St. Patrick's Day and getting it in the festivals, I kept getting turned down, and I just kept seeing the click that these like local festivals were having. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just like they're taking things that have such huge budgets and they're competing it against something like St. Patrick's Day or something like there's no true indie film festival out there. Like everything is all about like who you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've seen so many patterns with a lot of festivals. I'm not going to name them here, but a lot of North Carolina festivals are very, very clicky.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, I'm the general manager of a movie theater that makes movies. I'm not hosting my own film festival. I'm not giving a voice to all these people who have been turned down and who have been shooed away out of the favor of a bigger budgeted movie. No, I want this to be a true festival for indie filmmakers, people who literally are scraping pennies to get something done. I want them to have a platform and a voice because there is not a lot of people who will offer that to them. And let me tell you, this lineup this year is the absolute best that I have seen since I started. This is our third festival, Spring Lane's third festival. And last year was phenomenal. The first year was phenomenal. This year, I am blown away because there's a lot of people that in this festival that I've actually featured in festivals in the past, like the last two, and their work has always been great, but they're just getting better. And
And that's probably cool to watch.
it is cool. It is incredible. There is one from a filmmaker that I saw the first festival we had, and the second festival we didn't get anything from this person because they were working on like something new and that wasn't ready by them. And I got their latest piece, and it is a game changer. It is a completely like I'm like, is this even the same person?
Dang.
Like and that goes to show you, man, you just like they got to have the support and the love. And I'm glad that we can offer that here for them. I've met tremendous amount of people from this festival and they love it. There is so many, like I'll even see on Facebook or Instagram, most social media places that reference us, and they're just like, this is one of the best. Like the hospitality here is incredible.
Yeah.
The vibe is incredible. Everything about it is just it like this is one to look out for. This is like an up and coming festival that people are going to want to be a part of.
Nice.
And after getting this lineup this year, I've got to say it. I guess we are making some waves. I guess we are turning a little bit of heads here, and that's honestly the purpose. There are artists out there that people are sleeping on because we are so oversaturated with superheroes,
Oh my goodness.
with science fiction films that don't work, uh, uh, spin-off movies. Everything
Yeah.
has to be a known property,
Mhm.
but there is original content out there that is not seeing the light of day because people aren't taking chances on it, and I want to be the person that takes a chance on it.
I like that. And it's called
The festival,
Mhm.
the Spring Lane Film Festival.
You can find it, and you can't submit anymore, right? Not
Submissions
for
are
this one?
closed, but tickets go on sale on the Spring Lane Cinemas website on March the 1st.
Dang.
And the festival itself is on April 6th from 12 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. And are awards coming out that night, or is that later?
Yes, awards will be coming out that night. I always award them after each block. I put out
Okay.
some awards that way because some filmmakers they come and they're not able to stay the whole time, so I want to make sure they get and the audience knows
That's
before
nice.
they come around. But the special thing about Spring Lane Film Festival, and I am definitely going to plug my own movie here.
Do it.
Migraine will have an exclusive screening on April 6th at the very end of the Spring Lane Film Festival. So it'll be a week before its official release.
Dang. So it will be in theaters here?
Yes.
When
It'll
when
be,
does that happen?
you can see Migraine in select theaters across the country on April 12th. They will be screenings in North Carolina. There will be screenings in Oklahoma, and hopefully there will be also screenings in Washington. I'm working on that one.
Hey,
But people are anticipating something pretty different here.
nice.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Jared, thank you so much for doing this. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, my friend. It's
Yes,
always a
sir.
pleasure.
Oh, yeah. I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Thank y'all for listening. This is Finish the Race podcast. Make sure you finish the race.